Hi guys, this is Kai. Today I'm gonna bring to you the iPad 4 with the Retina display, as you see earlier in my review. So what I'm gonna do today right now is I'm gonna take apart iPad 4 Retina display down to the logic board, and this is my first disassembly video for iPad 4. First time, so let's get started. So what you need first is you need a heat gun. Yeah, let's go over the tools. From what so you need a heat gun, and this is one of those. You can find this in the auto shop. It's a suction cup that works great in taking the glass off. So what you want to do is first you want to heat out the surrounding frame area, because there's a lot of sticky residues. Apple puts double-sided sticker tape down the glass. And from as far as I can tell, this is where the home button is right now. This is what you can see. From my experience with iPad 2 is that there is cables on the side here for touch connector. So I'm gonna try to stay away from this region. And I don't know if the antenna from iPad 4 might be exposed in this region as well. So I'm gonna now start with this corner as well. Here, you have the power button, home button, and volume button. There's potentially dangerous area, so you also want to keep this corner for later. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start with this corner because there's only the power button here. No, I mean like only the audio jack over here, so it should be relatively safe for me to start with this corner. So you wanna test your heat gun. You don't wanna make it too hot. You just want it hot enough to melt the. You want it hot enough to melt the. Oh wait, before I start, you know what you should do? You should turn off your iPad. Yes, bad idea. Never take a screen off while the iPad is still on. Okay. You see this? So I think this is the best way to do this. You get two of these suckers and you heat the corner. It takes time. It's like so you do it once, twice, and you slowly pry it open on just one side. Preferably somewhere in the middle, not on the corner, because the corner is the weak spot for glass to break. So what you do is you take your side to the corner and then you pull apart, and now you just careful because your iPad might just fly out, and that might break it. If your glass is already broken, that wouldn't be a problem. Alright, so you just do this, you pull back and forth like this, and until you can get it assisted to come up on like one side. See that? Zoom in a little bit. Okay, so this is what you do. You pry it up, you pull, and then you move around. Let me just do this again. Just release this. Release, and you heat out the region that you want to do. Here, I'm picking those corners on the side, and I'm starting at this area. So you just warm this up a little bit. You just warm this corner a little bit. You have the plunger in the back, well, sucker in the back, and sucker in the front. Get it as close as to the line as possible. You pry up, you pull up, and you move it. You twist it. You twist it to the side that you wanted to move to. And you see this? You hear that? See this? See the gap I'm making? You see that? That's inside the iPad already. And now, when you have a hand, or in my case, I'm gonna just buy this, and I'm gonna slide this card. If you have someone else happy, that would be great. So I just basically use my mouse to hold the credit card, and just insert it. Yeah. See that? Alright, so after this it will be easy. It would be nicer if you use like a metal, or maybe like a knife or something, but I don't, since this is the new iPad, I don't want to damage the glass too much. So all you need to do now is you just slide the credit card a little bit and you pry it up. Just make the gap a little bit bigger and bigger. It's very hard to damage connectors or cut them with credit card. Downside of the credit card is that you can't really use heating this at the same time, because that will potentially melt the card. But it's really hard to do this without heat gun, so I'm gonna heat the corner a little bit without cutting it. Let me zoom this out for you. Alright, so hit the corner I want to go through without hitting the card directly, and I'm going to put this on so I have better grip. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, that does it. I'm not using the large plunger again, sucker again, because it doesn't the job right. So I could do that. Try a little bit open and work your credit card skills. And there we go. A bit closer. And use a billet if you have to. Yeah. Once you heat up the glass, the adhesive comes out relatively easy. So I'm all the way down. Now I have to do the same thing again down here. Crack open. Be careful. Don't want to break it now. Okay, so this is the top corner. I'm just gonna heat up a little bit, like before. Heat up. I'm using low heat, by the way. Don't use high heat with this. It will burn the screen. Okay. I think I can finish this in 1 or 2 more heating cycle. Alright, so here, so I have better grip. Alright, so you cut down, relatively easy. Haven't damaged the screen at all. Be very careful over here. I don't know if this like if there's any cable, but see this, like, see this? This is the Wi-Fi cable. I don't want to spare that. They go on top, over. And very careful with the home button and the Wi-Fi cable. I'm gonna adjust this so I could do it without the credit card. Okay. Pop right open. Yeah, I gotta need one more heating cycle. Okay. And if you're just heating other area, the glass will pretty much transfer the heat to here, so that way your credit cards are gonna be melted. Okay. Do it gently and voila! I think that's it. It's almost through. Okay. We're doing good. Okay. Now I can get my fingers in and slowly open the iPad. See that? It opens this way. And this is the Wi-Fi connector I was telling you how. This is the Wi-Fi antenna. You don't want to damage this part. If you were using, oh shit! I just burnt myself. Careful with this, it's still hot. So put that away. Alright, so if you were using a knife or a metal plier, you're probably gonna cut this antenna and damage it. And there are other parts that you need to be careful of on iPad 4. For one thing, hold on. Okay, it's almost through. Let me just get this stuff off and let this sit. These are the regions you need to be very careful. Let me zoom in for you. You see this? If you use a knife or whatever, you have to be careful with here the Wi-Fi antenna in iPad 4. In iPad 2, they had the power ribbon cable right here exposed, so that's another dangerous area. But in iPad 4, apparently that it's not really an issue because they had a metal cover here. They screwed it on, so the ribbon cable is underneath. Otherwise, it's really the same design as iPad 2. And you have the camera over here. You want to be careful. You don't want to mess up the camera with. Imagine if you had a knife, you just it scratch the camera or break it off into half. So plastic. Use plastic. I like credit card. So this is like I expected. This is the best corner to start because there's nothing, no connection over here. Logic board is right here, and battery is right here. You do not want to heat up the battery unnecessarily. Since I'm using a heat gun, the logic board can withstand, give or take 300 degrees Celsius inside. Well, probably 300 is too high, but 200 degrees Celsius should be fine. That nothing on the logic board is going to be damaged if you heat it out at 200 degrees Celsius. Because when they make this logic board, when they put the components on, they heat out the reflow the logic board at 300 degrees Celsius, give or take, for the lead-free solder to melt. So it is designed to withstand that kind of heat. So if you do use a heat gun, heat this region, this side, because the logic board can withstand heat. Lithium battery, on the other hand, it goes bad. It might not explode, but it might blow out a little bit. Just not explosion blow out. It expand and it goes bad. Okay, so another two parts you don't. Oh shit! I shouldn't be talking. Okay. I was trying not to get dirt on the screen because I just spit over it. I talk too much. Okay, so over here, I'm gonna face my mouth on the other direction so I don't spit more stuff onto the iPad. This connector, that's interesting. They have a cable, unlike iPad 2 and most iPhones. Hold on, let me zoom out. Can't see. Okay, so this is the home button. This is the board that goes to the dock connector, and there's a home button board that goes to the logic board. But this is one of the connections that goes to the home button. Usually there's two over here so you complete the circuit, right? But Apple, in iPhone 4, apparently there's a cable coming out from here. See that? That goes to the home button. And the other side goes down here when it's touching the board, when it's putting it down. And when you press the home button, that completes the circuit. I don't know why they did this. It's strange. And this is the digitizer's connector, and you want to be careful not to break this. So this corner is a no-no corner. You do not want to start opening the case from this corner. Always go here in iPads. You can also start with this side, I guess, on iPad 4, but not from iPad 2 and iPad 3, I don't think. Maybe iPad 3, but not from iPad 2. It seems to me that all the iPad has a Wi-Fi connect antenna over here, and I think that costs about $10, $20 on eBay, or whatever you buy iPhone. But why break it when you don't have to? And then if you break this, your Wi-Fi is gonna be terrible. You have no antenna. Okay, so it's okay if you bend it, but don't break it. That's pretty much it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take the LCD screen out. Okay. And we'll find out what else is in the iPad. Okay, so even though I already did the screen with my spit while I was talking to you, I'm gonna put on my gloves just so I don't put my dirt on iPad. On your hand you have a lot of oil, so So once the get out on, it's really hard to clean it off. Now I'm gonna use my screwdriver to take the screws out and remember where they are. Okay, let's put this together and remove the screws. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, like all the other previous iPads are holding the LCD, Retina display, LED Retina display down. And let's get the screw down. There we go. Put a magnet here. Actually, I have a lot of spare screws for iPad, so it's really not a big deal for me to lose them, but you know, just keep it organized. Why not? When you can do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's a little bit tricky because the home button ribbon's right next to it, so you want to be careful not to damage the ribbon. Okay, so there goes the Retina screws. I feel that's good. I think that's it. And lift it off. Okay, so that's interesting. iPad 4, from what I can see right now, it looks a lot like iPad 3. It has let me get the screens off first. So what I use here is a really fine tweezer. Really fine. You see that? Like the tweezer head is just really something. Fine. It's like small, pointy. Okay, so this part you have to be very careful because you can easily damage the iPad and make it really hard to repair. I mean, it's potentially repairable. You can get the FPC connector for the ribbon cable, but that's just pain in the ass to do that repair. So you don't want to damage it unless unnecessarily. Okay, this thing is great. It can go underneath the iPad and hold it in place. Even after you open it, it still has its use. So just put this screen carefully on the side. Okay, what I want to show you is like these connectors. The FPC connectors, flat FPC flat cable connectors. So Apple put like little stickers here on each of those connectors. These connectors are ridiculously fragile. Like this one has 51 pins. They're very fragile. If you break any part of it, any kind of pressure, if you use a finger or a plunger or something that you try to lift this up from the wrong side, these connectors are bad. It has bad flip switch mechanism. If you open it from the phone side like this way, it'll break it. It's really fragile. The texture is a little bit like it's kind of like I'm trying to think. It's kind of like paper wrappers for candies, or like plastic tape. The texture of this connector is a little bit stronger than this. It's a little stronger than electric tape, like a thick one. And so if you put too much pressure on it, it will crack and it will open. And once that happens, whether it's the touch connector over here, the smaller one, or the bigger one for the LCD connector, if you break those, you will have to resolder a new one. There's no way around. Also, the back mechanisms flip. If you break those loose, in my experience, I tried. You can't just find a replacement backflip and put it back on. It doesn't work that way. There's two little little plastic holding part over here. When you break this tab off, these things comes off, and you can't just put a new one in. It doesn't work that way. There's too many connections to do that kind of swap. This connector it's specially made for Apple, and they really don't need this many connectors, honestly, for these connectors. Most of them are empties, so they don't need this many pins, and I think they only designed this way to make it really difficult for people to open it and repair. There's so many things that can go wrong, and it was designed to be this way. If you look at the schematics, there's no purpose of like half or more than half of the pins. These pins are redundant, and it serves absolutely no purpose except taking out space and making it really difficult to repair. Okay, enough talk. I mean, just show you how to get this thing off safely. I prefer to use my fingers and nails. Some people like to use the plastic plungers. Do not use metal tools. Metal tools are not for this. So I just put my finger here, using my nail, and dig it in. I go from the middle, and then you simply just, it's a flip mechanism. So you just flip. It makes like a circular motion, I guess. I go up, you just flip upward. And then you can easily, after you slide this flat cable out of it, as such. Okay, so that's done. That was easy. And when you put it back in, you just slide this in first, with the white line lining up with the end of the connector, and you press this flip mechanism switch downward. Now I'm gonna do the same thing to the. I'm gonna put the retina display away. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other cable. So you want to move this sticker, that's its only purpose is holding the connector down. You want to remove these with a fine tweezer before you do anything, because these, like I said, these connectors are so fragile. Any kind of external force going the wrong direction will break it. And they're not too difficult to remove. I mean, if you know what you're doing and you have the right tool and be patient and gentle to the connector, should be okay. Okay, so there's 4 of them. So your chances now breaking these quadrupled. Okay, let's try this again. Let's do this again. My favorite method. Fingers in, nails in here, and flip upward in the center, not from the side. Like I say, you see how easy I do this? I do this a lot. Okay, you want to flip in the middle of the connector, never from the side, because that's the only thing that's holding this back flip mechanism in place. If you do it from the side, this will get destroyed. Okay, now I need to be very careful. This Apple apparently taped these cables down. So what you want to do is you want to loosen the adhesive on it, or maybe you can just take it out outright and then tear the adhesive. Maybe. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try to get the larger ball out first before I take out this ribbon, because these are taped down to the frame, the aluminum frame. So if I remove these, there's a chance for me to either damage the connector or I can rip those cables into half. That's not good. So my best shot, or I think the best way to do this probably is to get the larger board, flip up, and then you pull the larger board out from the cables. Instead, the cable out from the larger board. When you put it back, once this is not taped down, you can assemble it first and then put it back down. So I'm gonna take the larger board out first. Okay, let's see what's down here. There's also a tape over here you want to remove, just to know what you're doing. Get oriented. Okay, so this thing comes off. This is the dock connector. Just be careful from the top, because this is an up switch. You just flip up. Then use your hand. That's it. See? Easy. It came out easily, without damage. Much resistance actually. Okay, so let's look at this area. It looks really similar to iPad 3. This is an audio connector. It exists in, let me zoom in for you. This connector exists in iPad 1, iPad 2, no, just iPad 1, iPad 3, and iPad 4, now. iPad 1, iPad 3, iPad 4. iPad 2 doesn't have this connector. It has the 4 pins audio connector. This is the 6 pin connector of its type. Its mechanism goes upward, so you want to get the connector up. So what I do is I just put my tweezer in, or a plunger, something, underneath, and you lift it upward, not on the side, up. That's it, done, easy. And this is really low flat cable connector. I feel a little bit better about this connector, even though it seems to be similar design to the other one, but I think this is more sturdy looking, just from looking at it. And even if it breaks, it only have like what, 5 pins, 6 pins, and well, let me see, 1, 2, 3, about 5 to 6 pins. I can't really see too well without a microscope, but that's 5 to 6 pins. So worst case scenario, you can solder this and back on easy. You don't, it's not a big deal, even if you break it. But problem is you have to be able to find this connector somewhere to be so. Okay, I just touched it with my fingers and nails. Holy crap, it's really fragile. The back flip mechanism, it's like paper. So be very, very gentle. Do not use a tool, use your fingers. Because you know how surgeons prefer their hands better than any tools they use? Same concept. You know how much pressure you're touching it with the feedback you get back from your finger from touching it. So you wouldn't use too much pressure and then damage the delicate part. Okay, now once the back flip is up, you can remove this home button cable. Again, Apple made this just to make your life difficult. They really don't need this. It's redundant part. They really spend a lot of time making it harder for people to repair, change the parts, or I guess that makes sense. They want to sell you more iPads. Okay, so this is the Wi-Fi connector. That should be easy to lift. It's the same connector mechanism switch as any Apple product. They all use the same one. You just lift this one up as well. It goes, the connection goes up. So up. Oh, it's very easy to get those off. When you press it down, be careful. Don't press it too hard. It should go in really easy unless you're doing something wrong. If you press too hard, this thing gets smushed, and then you will have to resolder this. Again, soldering this is really easy. I have a lot of video down to solder this Wi-Fi or 3G signal connector, basically cell signal Wi-Fi connector holder. Let's just give a name called a connector holder. It's this thing goes with the radio frequency and it transmit. It's just like go from the antenna, and then you receive from the air, and then it goes into the motherboard. Okay, so soldering this is really easy. I have a lot of video that does this repair. You should be able to do this with all the tools set up, and then know how. 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops. You really shouldn't spend more than 10 minutes on doing this. Okay, so that's it. That's all the connector I can see from this side of the logic board. And now we're gonna try to get the logic board out after I remove these screws. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 screws that I can see. So let's do that first. Let me zoom out for you. Okay. Four screws. So far, we only took out like, oh shit, where'd it go? One. I took out a screw from the. I think Apple put some glue. You see that? Is that blue stuff on the screw? Well, it's a common thing they do. The OEM manufacturers, especially like laptops, and they put a glue when they put the screws down. So again, they don't want you to do this repair at all. They don't want you to touch this. They're designed to make this as difficult to fix as possible they can. Okay, so now the logic board should be loose. You can lift it out this way, since this cable is still connected and you want to disconnect from the battery here. So you do just lift it up. Like remember I mentioned that I already unlocked these mechanisms. Switch, back flip switch. All I need to do now is just pull it out from the logic board, like such. That's it. This is the logic board of iPad 4 with Retina display, front and back. Most of the mechanisms are all the connectors and switches